Welcome to the People of DearDoc, an DearDoc Podcast, the show that brings you closer to the heart of our company. I'm your host, Billy, and each week we'll take you on a journey behind the scenes to meet the incredible individuals who drive our company's success. From marketing to product development, HR to sales, we're here to showcase the real people, the real stories, and the real passion that makes our workplace extraordinary. Whether you're a new hire that's eager to learn about our culture, or a seasoned pro looking to connect with colleagues that you've never met, this podcast is your invitation to join us in celebrating the unique talent that makes us who we are. So grab your favorite headphones, settle in, and get ready to meet the faces behind the roles as we dive deep into the heart of our company. It's time to discover the stories that inspire us, the ideas that drive us in the incredible journey that is DearDoc. Welcome to the People of DearDoc, an DearDoc Podcast. Let's get started. Everyone, welcome to this week's episode of the People of DearDoc. Joining us today is Daniel Esparza from our finance team. Welcome.
Thanks, Bill, for having your podcast.
Yeah, absolutely. Do you mind sharing with everybody, what do you do here and what's your role exactly?
Yeah, well, right now I'm a finance and operations manager. So I work on, well, for the first part on all the finance things from the start of accounting, making sure like all the information of the financial information is correct, being able to utilize that information for decision making and dig a little deeper on what is happening inside the company and where we can do better or where we're doing a lot better. And on the operation side, we're more on the area of start looking for areas of improvement. So usually we look, for example, if we see a problem from the finance side, we go to that team and we start seeing like, well, your information, your data is not as we want to, and we need to start improving that area. So the operation is going to help on that. So we reach the goals we established.
Cool. I'm excited to get into that, learn more about your role here. What were you doing like before DearDoc? What's your background like?
Uh, I was just jumping out of places because I just get out of university. I was I I was working on tax auditing, and when I get out of university, I was at EY, and I was like, well, this is not how life is supposed to be, because it was a big four, and it was like, well, it's supposed to be like you have to work at from 8 to when everything is done. So usually it
Hmm.
was like 10, 11 p.m. So I didn't like it. I like the role, I like the activity and the importance, but I didn't like actually my personal life in that aspect
Okay.
because all my life was working.
Right.
So yeah, got out of the university. I realized that, and then I choose to move to Citibank, and start
Okay.
working on the this a financial advisor. But I was really, I don't know how to say, like angry or dissatisfied,
Hmm.
because I was thinking like it was more like a fine, like this guy is going to help you like build your wallet, help you like understand like the financial things, but at the end it was more like a sales role. So it was like
Got it.
you have to sell credit, and if you don't sell credit, then you're like, no matter who he is, you need to sell them like everything
Mhm.
you can. So I didn't like that aspect.
What made you want to get into like finances and stuff?
Um, I think like I really like this idea of being able to put yourself in one place, analyze things that, well, if I do X, Y, and Z, I can reach this goal, and how I'm going to measure it is by money. So that one I think like I really like the idea of start putting goals and see how they are achievable by different strategies.
Cool. Is there one thing you remember from university that you take to today? Something that sticks with you, like something you learned about finances and whatnot?
Well, I think like the main thing is for one of my teachers that was mentioning, uh, there are two ways to do things. The one is just to get by, and the other one is forever. So you just decide. And thanks to that, it's like always like, well, let's do things forever.
Forever, right?
Yeah.
Love it. How did you hear about at DearDoc?
It was pretty strange. I was out of the bank because I decided to quit, and I was just looking in all different work platforms,
Mm,
and I found them in like they were looking for an assistant of CFO or something like that. So I decided to enter, and I haven't regret any single day.
awesome. And how long have you been here for now?
It's going to be 3 years now.
Wow, 3 years. That's awesome. You're practically a legend already. So I know you already described a little bit of what your role is like. What exactly do you do? Maybe go a little more in depth than before.
Yeah, like for example, on the finance side, like we do a lot of helping the CS side and the sales side, like making their information correct and yeah, trying to just solve the customer's problems. And also from our side, maybe we are not like facing with the customer like practices or doctors, but for us, our biggest customer is the sales and the CS department.
Okay,
So
cool.
we want to help them like yeah, give them the best service because if we don't do it, like they're not going to continue hiring us.
Mhm. And you work a lot with like the operations department as well.
Yeah. With operations, it's a little different because we're more like project based,
Mm,
and is I really like it, but it's not complicated. I will say like uh, you have to understand the logic of the company, and I think that's the more like it's like a riddle because you don't know like maybe how things work or
mhm.
they work in a certain way on writing, but actually in another way on yeah on the daily basics.
Makes sense. Makes sense. So what is like a typical day for you? Like you start off, you're fully remote, right?
Yeah, fully remote.
Okay. So yeah, describe like a typical day for you. Like you get up, start work, you have like a meeting or anything
Usually,
like that.
yeah, like here, I think like we are 2 hours behind New York or 1 hour behind New York. I don't remember. But usually I go to the gym like in the morning or swimming. Then after like I have breaks and everything, I start working. So it will be around 8 a.m. here in Mexico.
Okay.
So from that point on, start working on, well, first of all, start working like what are the tasks of today and start checking if the objectives of the week. So if we start doing like all the little tasks so we can finish the objective of the week. So after that is having meetings with the team, start checking if there are like if there are not any blockers, something like that, and start like putting down little fires that appear. For example, I don't know, like some software is not working, or maybe we have X problem with the finance department, etc. But usually it's more like project based. So that's also like the fun part. Like usually it's not the same day every day. It's
Right.
different.
Do you plan for the next day, the night before, or the day before, or is it kind of just like morning of, figure out what needs to get done?
Usually it's like planning the week and then
Okay.
just going day by day.
Okay, guys. So you break like from the beginning of the week to the end, we have to get done in that week, and then each day is something new, or whatever has to get done for that specific task.
Yeah.
Sweet. So you've definitely been here for a while and probably seen a lot of change within the company. It's been 3 years for you. What's like one of your favorite memories while here at DearDoc? Whether it could be like something maybe like something you accomplished or just something fun that's happened to you. Like what's one of the most memorable things that you remember?
I think that the most memorable moment, well, it has been a lot, but one that really stuck with me was like the first time that I saw the US team coming down here
Mhm.
because it was pandemic. I was like a year inside the job, and then they decided to come down. It was like a full year just see each other via Zoom or whatever. So it was pretty fun to actually see us in person. I was like, oh, so like you're the same height as me, or like you look like this.
Isn't it funny sometimes that people are like how they're really tall and you didn't expect it or whatever it might be from seeing them like on Zoom or whatever. I remember like experiencing that at like our summer party up here. And it was crazy because like I was so not used to anything remote, and then just seeing people remote all the time, now seeing them in person, it was really cool. Um, so, what would you say has changed from when you first started here, like on your first day at DearDoc, to now? Like, how's your role changed?
Well, everything has changed a lot, but yeah, for my role at the beginning it was more like a single contributor. So it was just like, well, working like you have to work maybe more than 8 hours a day, like maybe you work 9, 10, or whatever. But it was like,
Hmm.
well, I only care about myself. Like I know if I do the work, I'm going to be able to finish it. But now that is managing people is more difficult, and also you always have like this pain, like this are getting things are moving faster because there are
Hmm.
a lot of people helping and working on their own. But you have that feeling like, okay, like it feels strange just to leave those things that you did before to other people. So I
Hmm.
think like that's the most thing that yeah, like has affected me. Well, I don't know how to say it, but yeah.
Yeah, no, that makes absolute sense. If you can go back to your first day at DearDoc, what would you tell yourself? Like you're going back from today to their first day. What's like one piece of advice you would give yourself?
I will say that, yeah, like be more confident on what you are doing, and yeah, like learn learn that everyone is learning at the same time as
Mm.
you. Because when I first entered, I thought like, oh, like, but this is a big company, like they're going to have like everything standardized. Like I only going to do like a small part of the process, and that's all. And because I was coming from all these big companies, and now that I entered here, it was like, oh, well, this kind of shock of things are not resolved here, so I have
Mhm.
to resolve it myself. I really like that, but it was like a huge uh like I don't know, like wall for me that to understand that.
Mhm. Just be more confident, like, trust yourself, trust the process going through. Sure, you have to probably learn a lot throughout that too, like getting some extra workload on top of it, probably added to maybe some skills you didn't have before, got to sharpen other ones. That's awesome. I think your role sounds really cool, and I'm happy we got to learn more about it. Let's hear more about what you like to do outside of work. What are some hobbies you do when you're not working?
Yeah, usually I like, well, first of all, going to the gym, swimming, and running.
Okay.
I really like the endurance sports. I think like even the job is like that. It's not like a sprint. You just have to endure uh, many of the times. So that's why I like all of those sports, because it helps you like thinking like, well, if I can go through this a little bit more, I can go a little bit longer. So I really
Yeah,
like
yeah,
that.
that's cool. Have you ever heard of like an Ironman?
Yeah, actually, that's in my bucket list.
Is it?
Right? Yeah, my idea is maybe not a full Ironman, like maybe a sprint or something like that, just to start on that. But yeah, that's on my
Mhm.
bucket list.
Isn't it? I think the Ironman's like a 2 mile swim. Isn't that crazy?
Yeah, I was thinking like the Ironman distances is insane. Like you
Mm.
have to swim, then bike for, well, I see it in kilometers, but like 200 kilometers, and then
Mm.
run a full marathon. So it's just
Yeah, it's a
pretty
lot.
crazy. Yeah.
I agree with you. The Ironman's my bucket list too. That's something I want to do eventually, but it takes a lot of training to get done.
Yeah,
You get
no,
to go ahead and
definitely.
do that. Is there anything else that you do outside of work? So like to run, swim, work out, push yourself a little more? Any like movies, shows, anything like that?
Yeah, usually like Sundays is the easy day.
Okay.
So it's just like movies, TV series. So I was really into Game of Thrones where he was on. So yeah, I like all
I
of that.
I heard there was a crazy ending to Game of Thrones, wasn't there? I haven't watched it, so I don't know.
Yeah, no, it was pretty like I like it, but if you feel like, oh, something's missing, like compared to the other
Mhm.
seasons.
Yeah, yeah. That's the worst when a show ends on like a really crazy cliffhanger or just like completely has like one of the weirdest endings ever. All right, so now we're gonna head into like one of my favorite parts of the podcast. It's like kind of rapid fire questions. Just answer quickly, and we're gonna go through them. Let's get into it. So the first one is: would you rather never have shampoo or body wash again in your life, or never have toothpaste again?
I think that shampoo, like
Shampoo?
Yeah,
Okay,
but
you
there's
need
no coffee.
you need to brush your teeth.
Yeah, yeah, definitely.
Awesome, awesome. So if you were to go into the Olympics and you had to win a gold medal, what Olympic sport would you do?
uh, Running, definitely, like full marathon.
Makes sense. Okay, full marathon. There we go. If you could travel anywhere in the world right now, where would you go?
Japan, it looks pretty cool.
What do you think you'd do in Japan?
Uh, well, visit all this crazy stuff, Tokyo, like from big cities to small towns. I think like everything
Hmm,
looks great.
sweet. And then the last one is you could have any superpower. What would it be and why?
Uh, I think that flying, it just simply
Okay.
sounds super cool.
So you just fly. You could fly to Japan then.
Yeah, pretty cheap.
Sweet. Yeah, that'd be cool. Flying would be an interesting thing if you'd actually fly. All right, sweet. Is there anything else you'd like to share before we head out of here?
No, I think like it's a pretty good activity, and I really like this talk.
Cool. Well, I appreciate you coming on. I'm happy we got to learn more about you and your role. It's definitely something I was curious about as well, and know a bunch of other people probably were. So, Daniel, thanks for joining us today. Appreciate it.